Well, I'm headed out on a Saturday night, knowing full well mine was safer inside. Well, my mind is restless, and you know that my feet are bold. I'm gonna grab my hat, Lord, head on down the road. You know the one is too much is never enough. Hey, bartender, won't you pour me another shot of that stuff? Well, I'm chasing a bar stool, stealing on my beer. Don't care where my rider went, you know she up disappeared. Well, let's have us another mama, well, this round's on me. Gonna drink till we're blind as can be. You know the one is too much is never enough. Hey, bartender, won't you pour me another shot of that stuff? Pick it out. On a Saturday night, knowing full well mine was safer inside. Well, my mind is restless, and you know that my feet are bold. I'm gonna grab my hat, Lord, head on down. Grab my hat, Lord, head on down. Grab my hat, Lord, head on down the road.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to already episode 16 of The Tasty Twist with Sammy B. I am Sammy Blanchette, local Ludlow, Vermont musician. You can follow me every way possible on my website, sammybmusic.com, where you can find access to Facebook, Instagram, all the episodes so far of the Tasty Twist podcast here at Okemo Valley TV. You guys just heard from former Haddam and Madison, Connecticut resident, and now Springfield, Vermont resident, longtime singer-songwriter and super talented solo acoustic musician, Mr. Bill Brink. How are you? How are you, man?
Morning.
Yeah, tell us about morning. All right, handshake. All right. I love it. Yeah. Tell us how you got all started between Connecticut and like time with Vermont with playing music.
Well, in Connecticut, my friend Gary and I used to hang out at a place called the Country Tavern.
Ooh.
And it was great because the owner, Frank, used to let us go in there with our guitars and hang out and play all these songs that we didn't know how to play.
Yeah.
And
like your own version of open mic, right? Kind of like
exactly,
right on the fly.
Yeah, just a two-person open mic. And eventually he would give us pitchers of beer and shots of tequila.
There you go.
To stop playing.
Yeah, to stop. Usually it's to enhance the playing,
Until one day the power went out and the jukebox didn't work.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So now you mix all that together and they're like, okay, you have to keep playing. You have to.
Exactly. That's when we made the shift from playing to being paid to stop to play.
Yeah.
To being given shots and beers
to
play.
We've changed our thoughts on you guys. We need you to continue.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Play.
Yeah. We don't have a jukebox anymore.
What was the first type of covers genre band that you covered at the tavern you were speaking of?
Oh, Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead,
Grateful
nice.
Dead, John Prine. And that's about all I can remember.
What was your first Dead song that you played?
Broke Down Palace.
Okay,
Broke
nice.
Down Palace. A pretty complicated one, actually, for a beginner.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Dead song that you play or like to listen to?
I would say, it's more of a Jerry song, but Deal.
That's a great song.
Deal.
Yeah.
Deal's a great song, and it fits right in with Broke Down Palace because it starts off in A.
Yeah.
So you just go right from one end to the other.
The amazing thing about the Grateful Dead, I've mentioned it on previous episodes, is they've got this aura to them, and they've created this culture for so many years, especially from 1965 to 95 when Jerry was alive. But all the different genres of music they covered in their songwriting is just phenomenal.
yeah,
like their knowledge and everything. You
Yeah,
know?
they've gone from, they actually started off as a jug band.
Yeah.
You know, Mother McCree's jug band.
Back when they were all clean shaven, when
Yeah,
Jerry
exactly,
especially was clean
before
shaven.
Jerry could grow a beard.
Yeah,
you know?
Bobby Weir was probably like what, 16 or 17 at the time.
Right. Yeah, playing washboard.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned John Prine, and you cover also a lot in your shows Beatles, Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, Grateful Dead, Pink Floyd. So who was your biggest inspiration as far as getting you into songwriting? Any one particular artist?
Probably Pink Floyd. Just because their lyrics are so deep and so meaningful.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I was coming up of age, I thought, wouldn't it be cool to be able to play that?
Absolutely.
I mean, I had a friend, Jason Pierce, who, you know, in high school, you know, was the guy who could play Stairway to Heaven. You know, you always had that one guy.
Upon request, or he actually wanted to play Stairway to Heaven?
I think he eventually did it upon request.
Upon request, yeah.
And, like,
and Freebird too, right? Probably.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, the eventual Freebird.
Yeah.
But
that's cool. I'm sure David Gilmour's guitar playing and his tone probably just blew you away, right? First time hearing that too.
Yeah. But I'm more of a hummer and a strummer anyhow. I don't do that fancy stuff.
Yeah, I was chatting with Jake McLaughlin about this yesterday on the episode about the beauty of Richard Wright's piano playing on all those Pink Floyd albums, especially Us and Them off of Dark Side of the Moon, which is track 6, I believe, off of that album. Yeah, just great time. No, so Pink Floyd, excellent references right there. So, and along in your 20-year career writing a lot of your songs, you do also play a lot of instruments, including 12-string acoustic guitar and 6-string, but also tell about some of the other ones you've dabbled with.
Well, I play 4-string banjo, bass, washboard. That's my jug band influence.
Nice.
And mandolin.
Nice. Very nice. You have outside of acoustic guitar, any particular one that you like the most out of all those ones you mentioned?
I would say the 12-string.
12-string.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just has such a nice, rich, jangly sound.
Absolutely.
And my wife loves it too.
Yeah.
She likes it better than my 6-string.
As long as it's in tune, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, this actually does stay in tune.
Yeah.
So
well, it's
hard to find.
It sounded in tune, as I had to make sure that mine sounded in tune too. But I got to take mine to Scott McDonald shout out to get it tuned up eventually. So, tell me a little bit about your music career in Connecticut. Did you gig out much in Connecticut, or did you just mainly focus on a couple of open mics and just songwriting at home? Tell me a little bit about your time back then.
Well, I did some open mics, and did some solo stuff. But at one open mic in Middletown, Connecticut, I met a fellow named John Small who had a band called Grand Junction, and they were recording an album, and he heard one of my songs, and said, "Would you like to join our band and be on our album?" So I was like so excited. I was like, "Yes!" And I went home and wrote 10 songs. I think I Peter Framptoned myself out,
Good reference right there. Yeah. So did any of the songs make the cut with the band? Like, did you guys showcase all of them?
All of them.
Yeah, nice.
Every single one of them.
And you were singing and acoustic guitar, like exactly what you're doing now? Cool.
We did a lot of 3-part harmony. So as far as covers, we did a lot of Crosby, Stills, and Nash. We did Amy by Pure Prairie League,
great song.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
and just focused on that 3-part harmony, and we played mostly in the New London area. Mm-hmm. We made our way out to Rhode Island a couple times, into New York. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, we stuck to New London.
When did you actually play your first open mic show, solo or with a band? Like, when did your career actually start?
Let's see. The first open mic I played at was in. Oh, I remember it.
The light bulb came on. It's coming.
Ding.
As I'm staring right into a light out in the distance right here. Oh, I actually did just get blinded. Hold on. Let me. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit here. You may continue. I'm sorry.
Was at a place called Barnum's, and it was hosted by a fellow named Nate Simmons, who I have 3 older sisters, and one of them went to her senior prom with Nate Simmons, this blues artist. At the time, he was a DJ for Wesleyan University.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with Nate Simmons. What's his background as a blues artist?
real Delta Piedmont blues. And
It's kind of along the like the John Lee Hooker era, sort of.
Exactly,
Or what's it? John Lee Hooker, Robert Johnson, just some of those like big names from like.
Reverend.
T-Bone. There's T-Bone Walker.
T-Bone
there's
Walker,
a lot of those guys. Yeah. That's cool.
But Nate kind of took me under his wing and made me his washboard player for his band.
Wow, that's fantastic. When you got started, did you take lessons also too, or are you all self-taught?
I took lessons for a little bit, and it was mostly, riffs here and there that they would show me.
Do you teach lessons, or have you ever taught lessons for more people?
Yeah. I put up a little flyer. Remember when we were doing flyers on light poles?
That wasn't that long ago.
But it just seems so long ago now.
A telephone pole. Did you ever see the Green Acres episode where they're climbing up the telephone pole just to answer the phones? Did you ever see that? My parents showed me those shows, Sanford and Son, The Munsters. A lot of shows that probably would get canceled nowadays. But classic. All in the Family, another one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeffersons.
Jeffersons, yeah. Oh, have you played that theme song?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Come on, Sam. Your brain should work. I have seen you play it before, actually. So,
Well, moving on up
to the east side with five.
It's a real fun song. I've actually played it at the meeting house in the Unitarian Meeting House in Services.
Right. Was that the one you were just talking about, like before the interview and everything?
Oh, yeah. The Unitarian Universalist Meeting House in Springfield, Vermont.
That's awesome.
Where I'm a trustee.
That's awesome. When you moved up to Vermont, was Springfield your first choice? How did you find Vermont, like in your life, in your travels?
I used a map. And figure it's all uphill.
Yeah, from here. Without crossing the border into Canada. So,
right, exactly. Yeah. When you hit Canada, you've gone too far.
Yeah. When did you move up to Vermont?
In 2001.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my dad had a vacation home in Perkinsville and decided he didn't want to deal with it anymore, so he tried giving it to my oldest sister. She said no.
Yeah.
My second oldest sister said no. And finally, he just turned to my youngest sister and I and said, by the way, you're a homeowner.
You didn't have a choice.
I didn't have a choice. It's like, by the way, sign here. And okay, you're a homeowner.
You say to yourself, 23 years later, it's probably working out. Actually, that like you didn't have a choice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that's definitely another conversation for another time. The housing crisis and amongst a lot of other issues in Vermont, it's one of those. You'd be thankful that you own a property, because otherwise it's hard to find another place, and then rent is just rent is what it is.
Exactly. And at the time, I was paying property taxes and rent.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, what do I cut here?
Yeah. What did you do for? We've known each other for like 4 or 5 years, dating back to open mics at Du Jour and Neil's. More on that another time. But what else did you do for work? Have you done for work besides music?
Oh, chefing. I have an associate's degree in computer electronics.
Nice. Which
is kind of outdated because it came from 2001.
Yeah.
My kung fu is so old, I'm still using the term kung fu.
Yeah, so much has changed since then, definitely. What do you when you were a chef, what do you like to cook the best? And I know your wife June had mentioned that you're the chef of the house. So
yeah.
What's your favorite thing to dabble in?
Oh, I have a dish called chicken tarragon. Which is...
So is it like a teriyaki combination of something?
It's tarragon.
Tarragon.
Yeah.
Gone.
So it's a sauté dish.
Okay.
It's an all one-pan dish, which I love because it's easy cleanup.
That's awesome. Yeah. But you still have to like spray it with cooking oil and stuff, right?
Not really. You sauté in olive oil or butter, actually.
Yeah. How hard is that to prep? Does it take a while, like a meal like that, to prep, marinate-wise, or?
You don't have to marinate anything.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
So did people find out years ago for Thanksgiving, hey, here's a chef, let's go to his house?
Right?
Yeah. He must be a turkey expert. He must be a mashed potato expert.
Yeah, right. Turkeys are difficult to cook. They're much more difficult than people.
And they're dry, too. Like, the meat is much drier compared to chicken and duck. Like, duck is very... it's almost like greasy. Like
it's gamey.
Yeah, gamey. Yeah, exactly. But I like that about duck, though. To be honest.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's a place. Have you ever heard of the establishment in Connecticut called the Sitting Duck Tavern?
No.
They have one out of, I think, Trumbull and Stratford. I played shows back when I lived in Connecticut there all the time. But they always had as an appetizer glazed duck wings. And I'm like, oh. And the first time I had them, it was just magnificent. I loved it.
The fat is the flavor.
Yeah.
You know, that grease is where the flavor is.
So did you primarily work in restaurants and bars, or did you cater events also too?
Oh, I did catering as well.
How was that?
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun because you're on site, you're meeting all these different people, and you're always moving.
Yeah.
It's
almost like
got to get the appetizers out.
Yeah. And I would imagine, depending on, say, if you have like 50 to 100 people, I mean, you're plowing through trays of food so quickly. It's like you got to quantities sometimes. Like you got to really wrap that stuff out.
Well, there's also the prep ahead of time.
Yeah.
You're at the kitchen and you're prepping all these appetizers to be going into these little ovens.
Yeah.
To be served by servers.
In a way, it kind of acts like a private event, don't you think? Like for music, because private events, most of the time, the people that are hiring you, they've heard you, and so they know your food and cooking and everything. Oh, let's get Bill. It's not like, hey, random people are coming to my restaurant. I've never been here before. I'm gonna criticize everything the chef is doing, and it's stressor theater for you in the kitchen at that point.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Yeah,
very similar.
Yeah,
you know your audience, and your audience knows you.
Yeah. So take me a little bit into your original songwriting, and when you moved to Vermont in 2001, how much original music did you already have kind of waiting in the wings to either record, share with the world? Was it hard building a music following in Vermont when you first got up here? Did that take a while, or?
Yeah, it took a while. I did some, solo gigs here and there, and then it built up from there. Mm-hmm. But the original material, I actually had one gig that wanted me to do all originals.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's why they hired me, because I had original material.
Did you just smile from ear to ear after that? You were just like,
oh, absolutely. But then I'm like, I only have so much original material.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But
they didn't have an ASCAP or BMI coverage.
Oh, okay.
So that's they got a visit.
Yeah. How many original tunes would you say that you have right now?
I would say between
recorded or not recorded. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, that first one I actually don't have recorded yet. This is the first recording of that.
It's going to be in the works in your home studio, like we
exactly.
talked
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
I'm going to be recording it at the meeting house.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you prefer, for many different reasons, being a solo musician or being a front man of a 3 or 4 piece band? And I say for various different reasons, whether it's financially, decision making, acting as your own agent, kind of like what we talked about in the pregame. What would you say is more of your comfort zone or desire, solo or band?
I've been playing on my own for so long now that I started playing with a friend of mine, Paula Boyle, who plays cello. Because we're doing a gig at the not Oktoberfest, Applefest in October.
Applefest. Okay, yeah.
And we got together to rehearse, and she's classically trained. So she knows all the ins and outs of theory, sight reading, the whole bit.
Yeah.
She plays multiple instruments.
Yeah.
And it's I can learn again. Playing with other people, you learn from them.
Yeah.
And so after a while playing on your own, you kind of, I felt getting stagnant. So this was the perfect opportunity.
That's an excellent point you bring up. I go through that every once in a while. Even though the money's there being a solo artist, it is good to have those occasional whatnot shows or Sammy being French show just to keep the interest level up. That's an excellent point you bring up. So with all that, you've obviously had a lot of experience with open mics, back in the day before the pandemic. Du jour, the open jam Taco Tuesday with King Arthur Jr. and I. Neil's on Thursdays, that was starting to really take off before the pandemic. I would imagine for you that open mic is so critical, especially for people that are just trying to build their confidence level up for the first time performing live, because it's sort of a meeting point with all these people and communication center, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Open mics, yeah.
And it's a good way. It's a good way to meet people. It's a good way to introduce yourself to the scene, and possibly get a gig.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good audition spot.
Were you surprised when you first moved up here how supportive Vermont is of arts and entertainment?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was
and that's not just
incredible.
bars and restaurants. That's festivals like what you and June put on and everything. So, yeah.
I mean, I was doing I was with Park and Rec in Weathersfield, and we were doing little concerts down at Stoughton Pond, which was, just these little solo duos.
Yeah.
And, we were, putting those on was a lot of fun. Yeah. And then I met June. And she's like, no, you got to think bigger.
Yeah. How has it been putting together festivals for the public and for the communities?
Oh, it's been a blast.
Yeah.
It's been a blast.
Got to be really soul rewarding, I would imagine, right?
Oh, absolutely. We did.
And do you headline any of those festivals, or are you guys mostly just behind the scenes, like setting it up, like the stage, doing sound? Are you actually like performing at any point, like throughout those?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
For the series we put on in Weathersfield at Hoisington Field, I was the first one up.
Yeah. First man up.
Exactly.
Set the tone, Bill.
Set the tone, exactly.
Set the controls for the Heart of the Sun, Pink Floyd.
Yep.
There we go. Cool. You have I know these episodes will be recorded later on, but you mentioned released later on. Sorry, but you mentioned the Apple Days festival that you have coming up. Are you playing up in Cuttingsville again, like the Stuart Maple Wally's Corner Festival?
No, not this year.
Not this year,
no.
Yeah. Did you have fun with those the first couple
I had
of
a
years?
blast.
Yeah.
I had a blast.
Yeah. Have you gotten into Best of Vermont yet down here in Ludlow?
Not yet, no.
Yeah. I gotta make sure the schedule aligns on my end for that next year also, because that's wicked fun. So, riddle me this: how cool is it to have radio stations and television stations pick up your originals?
Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. Do you remember WPLR?
Yeah. 99.1.
Yeah, well, my buddy...
I believe Mike Lapatino is still working there, by the way. I think Lappy's still working.
Yep, he's still in the afternoons.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I actually have the app on my phone.
My dad and I have met him. Great guy.
Yeah.
Tremendous
Well, I was
guy.
on...
Shout out to Mike Lapatino, PLR 99.1.
I was on Smith and Barber.
Oh, were you? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that was a blast.
Smith and Barber in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we did, I called in about a gig that we had done, and they're like, oh, well, come on, book a band Thursdays. And so we went on, we previewed the song we were going to play, and then played a completely different song. Their jaws dropped like, oh my God, what are they doing? What are they doing?
And you did that on purpose?
Oh, yeah. We just wanted to totally prank them.
That's awesome. But
they loved it.
I was about to say, they probably loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
So speaking of PLR, my buddy Frank Critelli still does the local band show.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's still up and running.
Oh, cool.
With Rick Allison.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so Rick Allison's still doing that.
Did you ever meet Chaz and AJ?
No.
Yeah, so I met Chaz, I believe, in Prospect, Connecticut. My buddy Rob Edwards, shout out to him. He's got a trade show company for high-end cars based out of Prospect, and there's a huge wedding venue, like private function building, like way up in the boonies of Prospect. And Chaz was one of the hosts, like as far as like the vendors and representing PLR and everything. And it was great. It was cool to meet them, So I've met both Chaz and Lappy, so big radio personalities in Connecticut, and they're chill, humble, down to earth dudes. It's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's segue on that. So, who have you met that you would consider a mega hero in your eyes that you've met?
Oh, Richie Havens.
Which, by the way, he's given you shout outs on your originals.
Oh,
by the way, too. Yeah. Awesome.
He was doing a presentation for the Nature Conservancy.
Yep.
At the Cooperative High School in New Haven. A friend of mine was a math teacher there, and he calls me up and says, can Richie Havens borrow one of your guitars? He forgot his. I'm thinking I'm being punked.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I call back.
Or in 2024, you're being scammed by AI or something. Like, is this a joke? Like,
right? Yeah.
Wow.
Though this is back in 97 or something like that.
All we had was pen and paper.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And rotary dial phones.
And yeah, oh my God. The comedian Louis C.K., he did a joke one time. He goes, all these people with these smartphones, it's wasted on the worst generation possible, because back in the day, you had to like dial this thing with people that had zeros and nines in their number. Like, yeah. Even I remember that back in the 90s. Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah. But anyway, segue back to Richie Havens. So you got your guitar. So
yeah, well, I brought my Martin. I brought my Yamaha. The Yamaha, I hadn't changed the strings on in like months. Martin had new strings on it.
Yeah.
So I brought both of them. He looks at me.
Now you're saying you gotta give up the Martin.
No, I was going to offer him the Martin.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Know? And forgetting how hard he plays on how hard he is on a guitar.
Yeah.
You know, if you've ever seen the footage of Woodstock.
I have not. No.
Oh, no. It's incredible.
Is he like a? Is he? I'm just gonna like do air guitar for a minute. Is he like a stiff wrist like player, or does he like really bend into the side of the strings where it could like break so easily? Like, is he fluent with his hand motion? Like, is that what you mean by like playing hard? Or he's just got a lot of like body language? Like,
just a lot of body language.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But he plays in an open D tuning, which I didn't know at the time. Yeah. And I said, well, I got a Martin, I got a Yamaha. He's like, Martin, that's a nice guitar, huh? I'll use the Yamaha. And he's got these hands full of rings. It just, could scrape up a guitar. Oh, yeah. But he was really, really gentle.
Can really bloody up your knuckles or whatever, like really quickly with that as well.
And I'm fretting that he's going to break a string or something like that because the strings are so old. But he signed my guitar strap to Bill, a friend forever and ever. He saved my life.
You got pictures with him too?
No.
I
didn't have a smartphone back then. They haven't been invented yet.
Come on, get one of those like Canon cameras, right? The ones that you can only take 25 at a time. You have to download the roll, go to Walmart, wait a week for Walmart or whoever to print those pictures. Then you go back and pick them up. Oh my gosh, all you youngsters out there, younger than 35, that have it so easy with the phones. God.
You don't know how good you've got it.
You don't know how good you got it. Yeah.
Your kids are spoiled these days, I'll tell you.
Tell me a little bit about, besides the Neil Young, Bob Dylan influences in your life, how you got into a comfort zone of playing harmonica, and we'll show that lately on the next song, but doing harmonica and guitar at the same time.
That would be my friend Gary. Gary Levitt, who I used to play with at the Country Tavern. Yeah. He had that set up, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get that set up too.
How hard was it first when you did it?
Oh, it was incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
I sounded horrible.
Was it just the timing more than anything?
Pretty much, yeah.
Because that's a lot of like brain and sensory training to be able to focus on this with your hands,
and not only that, but you got your tongue
and stay in time with the harmonica. Yeah. It's got to be challenging.
Yeah, and plus you have to cover certain holes with your tongue.
Yeah,
and it's there's a lot more involved than people figure.
All the back end stuff of multi instrumentation that people
exactly.
don't know. Speaking of which, have you ever seen Rush?
Not live.
Not live?
Not live,
Man.
no.
I played bass in a band in Connecticut for 9 years, band called Hubinger Street. And they put me on duty every once in a while as the bass player to also sing. Well, let me tell you something I cannot do well is hold down a bass line that doesn't require chords, single note lines, and sing well at the same time. So if I have to sing and play bass, my bass playing becomes so simple. I'm not doing any jazz line walking.
You're doing one-noters.
Yeah, you do like one-noters. Yeah, exactly.
One-noters or octaves.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's guys like Levon Helm in the band that drum and sing every song. Phil Collins that drum and sing every song.
Yeah, that's independence.
Ooh, yeah. So everybody thinks that the guitar players are just the big shots. Let me tell you, bass players and drummers that
absolutely
that sing are awesome. Yeah.
I used to play bass with some friends of mine because everybody wanted to play guitar.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to sing or play bass.
Yeah.
So I got to do both of those.
Yeah.
And, that was a short-lived endeavor.
But, hey, at least you have the experience to be able to talk
absolutely.
about it. So We mentioned in the pregame the pandemic. Obviously, we all know the negative moments, the negative times. Nobody needs to mentally fully relive that. But you got a lot of good feedback and publicity out of Facebook Live. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you still do Facebook Live at home every once in a while?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's a place called, a page called Giving Gigs that is still up and running from that era. And I'm doing, I'm not sure exactly when my wife would have that information. She's the brains of the operation.
Agent, yeah, but it was pretty cool. I loved the setup that you've had in your living room because you see all the other instruments and all the other like PA equipment you've used over the years. And you got your pedal board. It's an excellent setup.
Yeah. So. Now I can go live from the meeting house because we have like a.
Do you have Wi-Fi now?
We have Wi-Fi, we have camera, we have a recording mic, because we have a total Zoom setup.
Yeah.
So I can switch that over to Facebook Live.
So much technology. That's a big advancement in Vermont. We are in Vermont after all, like the land of dropped cell phone coverage in so many different
I know. Hold on, I'm coming to it.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, you're breaking up. Get in the Proctorsville Gully on Route 103. Like,
Well, you're surrounded by mountains.
Yeah. Did you learn with Facebook Live during the pandemic about, because I know you have it linked on your website, and I'm sure you do it at shows, Venmo and PayPal as options?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that saved a lot of musicians during the pandemic with everyone at home.
I know.
It saved a lot, myself included. I speak from experience, but it had to be interesting at first when we were stuck home and it was just the walls and our phones. Right. But you still connected to so many people worldwide or countrywide. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's remarkable, the technology.
It's incredible. It's incredible. The people who run Giving Gigs are out of England.
Yeah.
And they're still running this.
Yeah.
So, it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So June helps you out with social media promotion and stuff, right? And content and everything. That's a full-time job in and of itself.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But it's got to be nice. Like you're both. It's a team effort. Being married, living together, but she's acting as your agent. That to where you have your strengths, where she can focus on that, and then you can focus on writing more songs.
Exactly. It frees me up.
Yeah.
Frees me up to do all that. Exactly. But plus, she's a better typist than I am.
Yeah.
I hunt and peck. She looks at me typing and drives her nuts. She's like, "Give me your keyboard."
Yeah.
It's driving me nuts.
Yeah. Where can people find your music online?
BillBrinkMusic.com.
Nice. Do you guys use Instagram or just Facebook?
We use Facebook. We were using Instagram up until a point, but we're not using it anymore.
Gotcha. Now tell the audience and myself about, do you use Bandcamp and DistroKid for some of your original music and everything?
I think we're using Bandcamp, but for the most part, it's just on the website.
Gotcha. Do you have any new original songs, singles, EPs, or albums that, besides the one that we just talked about beforehand, anything else lined up that you want to get recorded and out in the world?
Well, there is the one that we played at the top of the show.
Yeah.
There's some stuff I do want to re-record because I now have the 12-string that I didn't have before. And that's going to give a different sound. And I have other equipment as well that, will enhance those songs.
Here's an interesting question from a playing solo perspective. So, have you ever been in the situation where your voice is not as strong as you like it to be, and you have to change the keys of some of the songs, like the fan favorites or personal favorites?
Oh, I've done that so many times. Like there's songs that require a capo.
Yeah.
And the beauty of that is that you can move the capo down the neck.
And it's still like in the shape of an open chord. Like you still know
exactly.
Mentally, you still know the shape of it, of a G or a D or a C. Yeah, exactly. But you just know it's a different sound.
Right. There's a song, Living in the Country, that I do.
Yeah.
And that I originally capoed up to the fourth fret, and then decided, let's move it down a little bit.
Yeah. And is it challenging when your voice is not 100% up to snuff, and then you have to be like, okay, I got to move the capo here, or I got to do this here? Is that it? I'm sure it's a pain in the butt because you want to be 100% healthy, but it's like, okay, I still got the gig. I got to make the money. I got to make the people happy. It's all right. Got to do what I got to do. I got to adjust. Yeah.
You're transposing, on the fly.
Yeah. When you play live in front of an audience solo, do you announce or unannounce original music? Do you kind of just throw it out in the open?
I try to announce it, but I'm not always successful at it.
Yeah.
My wife, June, is always telling me, you need to announce that it's the original.
Yeah. It's a fine line because it depends on the audience. Sometimes you just play the song and then you announce it at the end if the crowd is engaged and be like, by the way, in case you're wondering who that is, this is Bill Brink.
Right. Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about, let's see, on my bullet points right here. We talked about your grandkid. He's 3.
Yeah.
And you gonna get him in the lessons? Piano, drums, guitar, anything soon?
He's really into the drums right now.
Nice.
So
makes noise.
Exactly. It makes noise.
Makes all the noise.
And he's getting pretty good at it.
That's awesome. Does he is he aware of types of bands or genres of music he's listening to? Like, so you go, Grandpa, I like that guy from so and so. I like that. Yeah.
Not really. He's not that savvy just yet.
Yeah.
But his dad is really into hardcore metal.
Oh.
So when he plays, he's got the double foot pedal.
Oh yeah.
He's got
your grandkid's gonna be burning calories, man. If he picks up on like heavy metal, he's gonna have jacked arms and burning calories.
Oh, I know. He's gonna have double calves.
Yeah. Besides June and family members, anybody else in particular you want to give a shout out on this podcast episode?
Yeah. Hi, Sid. My sister Sydney, who I share the house with. Yeah. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Matt LeBlanc from Friends, Joey Tribbiani. How you doing?
How you doing?
Do any of your other family members, did they take up music like you did?
No. I'm
the lone wolf.
I'm all alone.
Nah, it's all right. Hey, someone's got to do the journey,
exactly.
Right? Yeah. Do you have any advice for up and coming musicians, much younger, that want to get out into the world, like as an artist? Like any advice you want to give them?
Have fun.
Very nice.
Have fun, enjoy what you're doing, and don't get discouraged.
And have fun is a lot more simpler of a concept than it needs to be. Because if someone goes, have fun. Oh, what do you mean by that? Play like everyone, try to sound like everyone else? No. Just be yourself? Yeah.
There
you go. Yeah.
That's what I should have said.
Yeah. No. And I was goofing around with you.
Oh, no.
I was saying the general public would be go, oh, what does he mean by that? Have fun.
Yeah, but no, be yourself is important as well.
Yeah, it builds confidence that way.
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
Too. Yeah, because you're great at songwriting. Someone like me loves to noodle jazz lines and whatever. So everyone's different, man. We're all a different, unique cat. Not just music, but just as people. We're all different. Yeah.
That's something June points out to me is that our group here of musicians, we're all different. Mm-hmm. A song you play, I may play the same song, but it sound completely different.
Yeah, which is why on this podcast, not only learning to listen and interview people the way that I am, like as a listening activity, it's also a great opportunity to jam with artists literally on the fly that I either know or don't know. That's a fun challenge for me. And like I mentioned, some other artists might be, intimidated by that at first, but then once it like happens, they're like, ooh, that's really cool. It's magic. Yeah. I had Jim Yeager on episode 3 a couple months ago, and we really hit home the point of, we're all representatives of like each other, and this is kind of like a team effort, whether it's a musician, a bar and restaurant owner, a manager. We're all representatives of this giant entertainment customer service industry. So especially as musicians, I feel it's very important that we all pick each other up and it's like healthy competition. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a very important thing.
Yeah.
So, that's where open mics come into play.
Exactly.
Also
yeah.
too.
You get to play with each other too.
Yeah. Anything else on the horizon you and June want to share out to the world as far as what you got for events or promotional stuff?
Well, we're working on trying to get a venue in Springfield.
Yeah.
You know, a nice venue that, you know, we can have national acts and, you know, bring in local acts to do a supporting role for those national acts.
Absolutely, yeah. That's awesome.
And then there's another venue that's possibly opening up in Perkinsville.
Very nice.
To do outdoor concerts in the summer.
By the way, how was playing at Villagers to close the season?
Villagers was a lot of fun.
That's a popular spot, man.
Oh, I know. That was absolutely, that was brilliant.
Good crowd, I would imagine.
Yeah,
for closing day.
Yeah, somebody gave me rocks with smiles painted on them.
Nice,
really cool.
So now you got to add like your own table of collection. You know?
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, everybody, hey, on episode 16 here, Bill has been a fantastic interview. I definitely want to have you back for another one if you want.
Absolutely.
This has been fabulous. And these guys are chomping at the bits. I don't understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, they want to be played. So what do you say that we get another original going? So
sounds good.
Awesome. Yeah. So we're gonna play another one of Bill's songs. Everybody, thanks again for tuning on into episode 16 of the Tasty Twist with Sammy V at Okemo Valley TV. Shout out to all the members here at the television station doing a fabulous job. Let's play, brother.
All right. Sounds good. 4, 5, 6. Everybody's got somebody that they love. And everybody's got this special angel from above. You're that angel I love from above. I never thought these 7 seas stars could get this love. You're hearing rumors, baby, I'll tell you that they're true. Nobody's gonna love you like I do. Found your note left upon my shelf. Tears welled in my eyes, I thought only of myself. That's when you stated you had no ring from me. Said that you would not stay if we weren't too married. You're hearing rumors, baby, I'll tell you that they're true. Nobody's gonna love you like I do.
Nobody's gonna love you like I do. I've seen you walking around with someone new, and I've had to shade my eyes just to keep from seeing you. Does it bring you roses? You're feeling blue. Does it say those magic words, darling, I love you? You're hearing rumors, baby, I'll tell you that they're true. Nobody's gonna love you like I do. Nobody's gonna hold you. Nobody's gonna know you. Nobody's gonna love you like I do.
Nice job, man.
Yeah.
Very nice. Great
Nice.
job. Bill Brink. Catch you next time, everybody. Thanks for watching the Tasty Twist. I'm Sammy B. Peace and love. Don't you worry now, my darling. Woo! Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of the Tasty Twist with Sammy B. You can watch all the episodes of this podcast on Okemo Valley TV's YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. You can visit their website, okemovalley.tv, consider downloading their mobile app, or watch them on live television via VTEL, channel 166 and 167, Comcast 1076 and 1086. Are you interested in supporting a local media station? Please consider becoming a member today. Visit okemovalley.tv for more information.